Hey Helen, it's been quite a while. Haven't forgotten about your mom, have you?
Thought you would contact me one of these days.
Oh, so you've been waiting for me to contact you, huh? It's nice to have a mom who cares about her daughter. No matter how old you get, a mother's love is everlasting.
I doubt that's true for a mom like you.
Excuse me?
I heard you showed up at that bar I was at with a friend.
Yes, well, to be honest, I saw you downtown and followed you, which led me to the bar. All I wanted to do was to talk to you.
When I went to the restroom, you approached my friend saying that you were my long-lost mother, all teary eyes and all. And that's how you got my line ID, right? Got her all sympathetic with your sob story. After I returned to my seat, you had already left. I told her the truth about you and how she was totally duped into giving you my line ID. She was furious that you had pulled that con on her. What was it that you said to her? That your husband abandoned you for a pretty young girl, leaving you all by your lonesome self and penniless, and that he wouldn't allow you to see your loving daughter? Wow, you sure know how to concoct a cock and bull story. You're the one that abandoned me after hooking up with some guy and divorcing Dad.
But the fact still remains that I'm your long-lost mother. How long has it been? It has to be close to 20.
The fact that you know what I look like even after 20 years can only mean that you've been snooping around for some time now, been checking up on me.
Snooping around? You make me out to some kind of criminal. I was hoping you would see it as a mother concerned about her child.
I was only 5 years old when you up and left with some guy, and on top of that, you sold the house from right under us. You left us homeless, for God's sake. Don't give me that loving mother bullshit. It won't work with me.
Oh, you knew about that, huh?
Yeah, there was someone who filled me in on all the details.
I guess you had to find out someday. Oh well.
So, what the hell do you want? All this snooping around, sweet-talking my friend to pry information out of her? Now that you have my line ID, there must be a reason for going out of your way to get it, so...
You're right about that. No use kicking that can down the road, I suppose. May as well ask you straight out.
Ask me what?
I heard that you recently got married. What a surprise! You married a lawyer. I suppose it's better than marrying someone in law enforcement. We can't have that.
It's none of your business who I marry.
Yeah, it's none of my business, I guess. But if you're just some ordinary girl, that wouldn't pass muster.
Excuse me? What are you talking about?
Your father is a criminal, and you conned some lawyer to marry you? Don't look so good, my dear.
Pardon me?
Oh, don't tell me you knew nothing about this. It's not your fault, all things considered. You were only 5 years old when the whole thing went down. I remember your father saying he got caught embezzling the company, and I clearly remember you turning to him and saying, "What's embezzled, Dad?" I would have burst out laughing if the situation wasn't so dire. You were just a kid at that time. Figured it wouldn't do anything good to explain things, so I didn't and left it at that. But even after 20 years, the fact remains that your father is a criminal, an embezzler. I don't know what BS you used to con this guy, this lawyer husband of yours, to marry you, but I see right through your scheme.
What scheme? I have no idea what you're talking about.
I get it. I know you don't want to face the facts. I divorced him because I didn't want to continue living as the wife of a criminal.
You keep saying Dad's a criminal. Where the hell did that BS come from? As for the embezzlement or whatever it was, that was all settled years ago.
It may have swept under the rug, but the fact remains that your father has a criminal record. Am I right?
He has no criminal record.
I know you want to believe that. After all, he's your father, but you really shouldn't turn a blind eye to the facts. I divorced him years ago, so I have no relationship with this criminal family. But you, Helen, you're his daughter. There's no escaping this fact. I'm sure you want to keep this little fact a secret from your husband. To do that, I demand that you purchase a $1 million home in the suburbs and transfer the deeds to me. I'll keep my mouth shut about all of this.
$1 million home? Are you nuts?
You know that area in the east of the city? The posh Hilldale area. There's a house there I want. The entire house is what I've been dreaming of my whole life. You buy that house for me, and I keep my mouth shut and your father's criminal past.
Why the hell would I buy a lavish house in a swank area like Hilldale? You have totally lost it, Mother.
You sure you want to act like that towards me?
You know what? I think you'd better do a little more background checking before you start making such preposterous allegations. Goodbye, Mother. Hey, Bruce, you there? Can we talk?
Hey, Helen. Sure thing. I'm on my break. What's up?
There's something I need to tell you later on tonight, but before I do that, I wanted to apologize in advance.
What's the matter? You okay? You're not in trouble or anything, are you?
No, I'm fine. It's just that something unbelievable just happened, and I wanted to talk to you about it.
Something unbelievable? What do you mean?
You know about my mom, right? You know I haven't seen her in years. Well, she contacted me today.
Wait, what? Your mom? The one that abandoned you when you were just a kid?
Yup, one and the same.
But why? It's been like 20 years. You haven't even been in contact with her and she just pops up out of nowhere?
Yeah, she just appeared. I was at a bar with a friend of mine, and when I went to the bathroom, she approached my friend and got information out of her.
You're not serious.
She gave her a big, long sob story about how my father abandoned her and proceeded to pry my line ID out of her. My friend was furious after I told her.
That does not sound like a rational person.
I just received a line from her. You wouldn't believe what she had to say.
What did she want?
Well, first off, she insisted that my father was a criminal and that he embezzled the company he used to work for.
Really? But I thought that whole issue was settled years ago.
Yeah, right? I kept trying to tell her that, but she just ignored me. My mom divorced my father right when he was being accused of crime. It's as if she ran away without even giving him a chance to prove his innocence. Probably never even bothered to check how it all turned out. And still continues to have this mistaken belief that he's a criminal.
I see. And so what did she want? She didn't just contact you after all these years just to tell you that.
She apparently found out somehow that I was married to a lawyer.
Huh? What do I have to do with all this?
She threatened to spill the beans to you about my father's criminal past unless I purchased a $1 million house for her in the Hillsdale area. You know, that ritzy area north of the city?
Excuse me? Buy her a house? Is she nuts?
That's what I said.
That's completely a case of blackmail. Who's the criminal here, for God's sake?
Yeah, right?
And what's with her demanding $1 million home? And in that swanky Hillsdale neighborhood?
Apparently, the place is up for sale now.
Hillsdale is one of the richest neighborhoods in the country.
I have no reason to be blackmailed, but then again, we can't just ignore this, right?
Of course not. This can't be simply brushed aside.
Can I leave this up to you? Would you handle it for me?
I'll get more details from you later tonight, but as far as I've heard, this is pretty serious. We really need to look into this on a legal basis and bring charges if we have to.
Thanks, Bruce. I knew I could count on you.
Oh, by the way, Did you talk to your father about this already?
No, not yet. He apparently had a late-night teleconference with an overseas client. I think he's still asleep. I'll talk to him about it later.
I see. Alright. Make sure you explain all the details to him when he wakes up. I should be home at about 7 p.m. or so. The three of us can sit down tonight and work out what we're going to do about this mess. You up for it?
Definitely. Thanks, Bruce.
Helen, are you there? Come on, pick up. Did you even go to the real estate agent and put a down payment at that house? I want to move in as soon as possible.
Didn't I tell you I had no reason to be doing that?
Are you still beating around the bush about this for Pete's sake? I'm serious about this. Don't tempt me, girl.
I'm curious. Why a $1 million mega mansion? Why not a little log cabin out on the lake? Not that I'm suggesting buying it for you. It just seems like this whole thing is, how can I put it, predetermined?
It's just that I thought it was about time. My sweetheart and I want our love nest.
Your sweetheart, huh? How old are you anyway?
You may be too young to realize this, but my sweetheart and I have been dreaming of living in a luxurious and cushy life. That wonderful house in Hillsdale is the perfect house for us. That place has a spacious backyard with a pool and jacuzzi. Just thinking about that place makes me feel so happy.
I have no obligation whatsoever to help you achieve that selfish little dream of yours.
Stop being so stubborn. You really want me to give the game away? I repeat what I said. Buy me that $1 million home or the truth will come out about your father's criminal past, and your marriage to that lawyer husband of yours will cease to exist. Your father's criminal past, his embezzlement of company funds, all the dirty laundry will be hung out to dry for all to see.
If you're talking about my father, we're living with him right now. Actually, you contacted me just in time. I'll switch the phone over to my husband. Hold on a second.
Wait, what? Your husband? The lawyer husband?
Hello, this is Helen's husband, Bruce. Finally get to talk. I wasn't aware of your line ID, so I'm using Helen's. Hope you don't mind. Helen filled me in on all the details regarding your relationship with her.
You're Helen's husband? You're that lawyer, right?
That's right.
Oh yeah, okay, I see. You're the guy Helen made up.
I would like you to give me permission to use your land ID on your phone.
Yeah, I'm sure you'd like that, but sorry, can't do it. Request denied.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
Excuse me?
This is Bruce. We talked earlier.
Pardon me. How's you get my line ID? Is this really Helen's husband?
I have my ways. I usually don't contact people online when it comes to legal matters, but as Helen's husband and as a legal expert on such matters, I will handle this matter on her behalf.
Okay, but,
What you did to Helen was something I was not going to let go unpunished.
what the hell are you talking about? All I did was ask my daughter to help me after all those years of hardship that I was forced to endure because of her father. $1 million house is a small price to pay.
I'm afraid you weren't asking in a legal sense. This is pure and simple blackmail. What you said was, you buy me this $1 million home or you reveal her father's criminal past. Sounded like blackmail.
Bruce was your name, right? I have no idea what kind of BS Helen fed you, but the fact that her father has a criminal record is pure and simple. A fact. He's a criminal. Check your facts before you go accusing me of blackmail, Mr. Lawyer.
I'm afraid that is not true. A complete misunderstanding on your part.
It's no misunderstanding. Why do you think I divorced him? I don't know what happened to him after I divorced him, but the fact remains that he has criminal record is irrefutable.
I'm sorry to break this to you, but your ex-husband, Helen's father, was innocent of all charges. As a matter of fact, he was the one who tried to uncover the criminal behavior of this embezzlement scheme.
Excuse me?
At first, he was suspicious of the culprits and dug deeper to try and uncover the truth. Along the way, they tricked him, and he was at first accused as the mastermind of this embezzlement scheme. But after further investigation, it was found that he was not at all to blame, but was the one trying to uncover the real culprits, which in the end was caught red-handed. Your husband was cleared of all charges. As a matter of fact, he was deemed a hero for what he did for the company and subsequently promoted. It was my father who told me this story. It just so happens that my father was a lawyer too, and he represented your husband in this case. My father told me this story over and over through the years, and he and your husband remained close friends. That's how I met Helen.
The whole story seems to be a little bit convenient.
Well, it's the truth, believe it or not. So it all boils down to the facts. He has no criminal record, and the three of us are living together now.
But this can't be right. How about my dream home? What happens to my $1 million home?
That's really not something you should be worrying about now.
Pardon me?
About 20 years ago, you abandoned Helen, who was only 5 years old at the time, and disappeared with some stranger. Not only that, you sold the house that your parents left you, in which you were all living at the time, and eloped with some guy you had a long-time relationship with. Did you even know that Helen grew up living at a boarding school until she graduated from high school?
Excuse me, a boarding school?
Yes, it was only after she landed a job at our law firm that she reunited with her father. What I can't forgive is what you did after. You never contacted her at all during those 20 years. Not a birthday card or a Christmas card, nothing. But you show up all of a sudden and it's to blackmail her.
But I needed the money.
Helen had a hard life, and it's all because of you. I love my wife and have high regard for her father, who has immense integrity and decency. That's why I cannot allow you to go unpunished. You have zero right to this family. Simply put, you are not a part of this family. You're a stranger, a nobody. I will assign a criminal lawyer to the case from our firm and will pursue legal action against you.
Wait, you can't do that. What are you talking about?
Blackmail and defamation is a serious offense. I would hire a good lawyer if I were you.
But this won't fly. I mean, you don't even know where I am.
Oh, don't worry about that. We checked you out already. We know everything about you. How do you think I got your line ID? We have our ways. I'm a lawyer after all. I also know you're heavily in debt at the moment, and you're living with some guy who's overly possessive. With all that info on you, you won't get very far if you try to run. I'm sure you'll be ordered to pay compensation and damages. The lawyers will work out the amount. You can pay all at once or in installments if you're financially strapped. I don't think you can get out of paying it either. There are consequences.
Please don't do this. Forget what I said. Forget the house. I don't want it. Please.
And one more thing. I don't ever want to see you near Helen ever again. You stayed away for 20 years. You can stay away for another 20.
As soon as my husband ended that conversation, I heaved a sigh of relief. I didn't really realize it at the time, but I guess this whole affair had me all wound up. I heard later that my mom and her guy were in a state of panic after our lawyer contacted them, but her boyfriend apparently knew nothing of her blackmail scheme. Wanting nothing to do with additional debt, he dumped her and disappeared. Well, that blackmailing scheme was the game changer for her. She was subsequently sent off to prison for her crimes. I suppose she'll be released someday, but our lawyer insisted that there will be a restraining order put on her when she gets out. She won't be able to get anywhere near me, or she'll be sent right back to prison. By the time she gets out, she'll definitely be up there in age. Probably go straight to a senior citizen's home. I have a feeling she'll never repent for what she did.